Okay, everybody, we have head coach Brad Brownell.
Tremendous win. North Carolina's been playing good basketball, and our guys, were really ready. And I thought we competed extremely hard. I thought our guys played with great physicality. Obviously, it's no secret they're tremendous in transition. They posted great and they rebounded great. And and they pressure you on defense, excuse me. And we really covered all the areas tonight. We only had 7 turnovers on offense. We kept them to 7 offensive rebounds while still forced them to a low field goal percentage, created some turnovers. And, our guys just really worked. Obviously, Hunter and Amir especially, but Omax came in there and really battled. PJ did a little bit, Jonathan Bear a little bit. But I'm just proud of the physicality with which our guys played. And also I think that Clyde and Amir, played like seniors, that really, this was a big game. They wanted to win. They were aggressive on both ends and really carried us. I thought Clyde helped set the tone with his aggressiveness on offense. So big win for us and happy for my players. Questions?
Brad, this is Reggie at WLTX in Columbia. Just a little bit more about Clyde. I mean, as a senior, this is his last go around. How gratifying is it to see him play like a senior in a big moment when you guys really needed it?
It is, and I'm happy for him. I thought his rebounding, again, 9 defensive rebounds, amazing. 2 assists, no turnovers, 14 points. I mean, that was high-level performance. It's crazy. He only took 2 shots in the Duke game, and it wasn't by design. I thought he was a little sluggish, probably tired. Didn't really have any pop to him. We talked about it, and I just said, hey man, I can't be playing you 25, 30 minutes in games and you're going to take 2 shots. He didn't have it. And, I think it's my team, like Amir and Clyde, especially, I think, they're physically drained after these games. They're really good athletes, but they're not the kind of guys that can, do it every day, all day. I don't think they throw so much into it, expend a ton of energy, that there are days every once in a while that they just, they need to take it easy. And, this was a long stretch for us, 3rd game in 7 days, plus practices leading into that game. I mean, we have really hard practices the Monday and Tuesday. We haven't been off since the last Sunday. So, I think you're going to feel that. But tonight he would regrouped, and I thought he really set the tone with his ability to attack.
Brad, how important was it to keep their bigs, out of the paint as much as possible and keep them from scoring around the basket?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what they're trying to do, and it's hard to guard. I mean, it takes everything you got, and if you're not really physically ready for a fight, they're going to destroy you. And our guys met the challenge. We talked about it for 2 days, and we did a couple things in drill work to really set the tone and tell them this is what it's going to take. And at halftime, I wrote down, hey, it's us against human nature right now, because it's not human nature doesn't tell you to go battle like that. And that's hard. There's not a lot of fun playing post defense. It's not something that anybody really wants to do on their own. And so our kids really battled, and they got it down there some, and that was okay. We just wanted them to have tough attempts. They're going to make some, and then we got to keep them off the glass, and we were able to do that by and large.
Hey, Coach Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. Second straight home game that you've held your opponent to 50 points. I guess how do you keep this? Did you see that difference in effort at practice the last couple of days, and how do you keep this intensity going for several games the way you did before the COVID layoff?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to keep talking about it, and our guys got to do the work. And we're going to practice in a way to try to help them. We didn't practice as hard these last couple of days because of the Duke game as we did leading into Louisville, and we didn't practice as hard leading into the Duke game. You can't do that every day, all day right now. You got to pick your spots. And so, you really got to be opportunistic in how you plan practice and be efficient. And then you got to rely on your players being mature enough to handle it. And, they were today. And the other thing that I think helped, we made some shots early in the game. I think we haven't done that in a long time. Georgia Tech's the only game that we even shot remotely well during this stretch. And so I think it energized a couple of our guys. You make a couple baskets, see the ball go in a little bit, helps you set your defense, number one. Number two, it just energizes you as a player. You make a three, hey, man, you feel good about going back and guarding a little bit. And, we just have struggled so much on offense. And even, we didn't turn the ball over, so we didn't help their offense. We got to have our defense set and play defense. And, we didn't do that at all against Florida State. We had some bad turnovers in the first half against Duke that they laid them up on us. Our team is not offensively, powerful enough to do those kinds of things. We got to grind a little bit better. And I thought offensively, we kind of slowed the tempo this game a little more than we have in a couple of the other games. And I thought that was a good decision for us. And then our players just played with better poise and toughness on both ends of the court.
Brad, Amir said when you guys got back from Duke that you really challenged them and had about an hour-and-a-half meeting or so that was different than you do after most games. Can you share just some details about that and what you missed?
It wasn't anything revolutionary. I mean, we it's stuff we've been talking about that, I was really disappointed in our performance at Duke. Every teams are going to have stretches where you play bad. We've had hard games back to back, all those kinds of things, but we've buckled and we've let poor offense affect our defense. I've tried playing a lot of guys all the time to give them a chance if the starters aren't playing and then they're not playing good. And then it kind of rolls downhill and then there's no real blame. Sometimes one of the negatives of playing 10 and 11 guys is when we lose, everybody feels a little bit bad, but like when 7 guys play, they feel real bad, and so some coaches, that's a big belief in theirs. So guys we got to practice better. We got to do a lot of different things. We talked about all those things. I said, I'm at the point now where everybody's had opportunity. Now, if you play well, and practice well, you're going to get more. And if you don't, you're not. And you may get thrown out there to get a chance, but my leash is going to be a little shorter. And, some of that happened today. So, hopefully challenging the players gets them to come together a little bit and also rally them individually to take ownership and accountability in their performance.
Coach, do you have an update on John Newman and why he didn't dress tonight?
Yeah, he disciplinary issue. And so he sat a game and I don't know if he'll sit another one or not yet.
Coach, this is Todd Shaughnessy in Spartanburg. I'm wondering what you saw in Hunter Tyson and what's the key to his minutes?
Well, he played good and he fights. He generally fights. There are times when some matchups are harder for Hunter than others. And, he's a guy that, I believe he really wants to compete. I think he has pretty good confidence. He has to work at things, though. It's not easy. Not a natural athlete and all that. He's got to really fight, buckle down, and we're trying to teach him he needs to embrace physicality and dirty work, and he has to be more than a shooter. He plays a position that you can't just be a shooter. You're going to have to defend physical, tough guys. You're going to have to be able to rebound. You're going to have to be able to, he needs to improve his passing and continue to get better at that, to do other things. But the one thing you know about Hunter Tyson is he wants to win and he wants to compete. And, I thought he did that tonight. They scored on him some, but I mean, he was fighting like crazy down there and he battled. We didn't double team very much. We left him alone. Hey, you're going to have to battle. And so I'm just really proud of him and his fight. He's a tough-minded young man.
Did he ever talk about what it's like to play in the mask? And you think it took him a little bit to get comfortable in that?
It affects him, no question. He doesn't see as well. He has trouble seeing things sometimes, peripheral. Obviously he doesn't like it. Defensively, sometimes he feels like he can't see things. And And then sometimes when he has the ball or whatever, he can't see as many guys. Like it's challenging for him. But it beats the alternative.
Brad, the role guys tonight, do you feel, I mean, Alex only scores 2 points, but it felt like he really gave you guys some good minutes. I mean, just several of the role guys, do you feel like that was a big part as well?
Yeah, I think I tell you, I thought Omax played great in the first half. I thought his toughness was very apparent. Now, I was really mad at him in the second half. He made a couple mental errors back-to-back defensively, and they scored. One on a BOB where they made a layup or a dunk, and then he got switched onto a shooter and left him and gave up a three. And so I jerked him out of the game, and like he needs to understand that. Like you can't be a bench guy and go in and give up 5 points on a couple plays. Having said that, in the first half, Hunter, got an early foul. He went in there, and his toughness and physicality, and I thought he played with some good courage and aggressiveness. So I was really pleased. We switched up Nick and Al a little bit. I thought Al was solid off the bench, made a couple good plays, couple bad ones. But those two guys played better tonight. They haven't played very well in this stretch, and they played better. Nick made a couple threes. Al made a three. They didn't turn the ball over much. Like that was productive. Chase was very solid in his 17 minutes. He didn't get enough shots. I wish we could have gotten him a couple more shots. But they guard hard. They don't make it easy. They fought him off a screen that we had set up for him to get a shot, and he didn't get an attempt there. But he had a big three, and I thought, he played well. So I thought our bench guys were solid, and that's what we need. We need everybody. It's hard for us. Couple more.
Any more questions for Coach?
With the defense, when you guys have struggled, I think you'd allowed like 79 plus in 4 or 5. What's the difference in those games and the way you guys have played tonight and against Louisville, where you really gave guys issues? Is it effort?
I think a couple things. Number one, I think our offense has been bad in those games, and so when you turn it over more and you miss more shots, you're naturally playing against transition defense, or you're playing in transition defense, which is much harder. I think missing shots like we've been missing, our guys have gotten a little demoralized, and and it affects them on the defensive end. They haven't been able to sustain, especially on the road. Now, it's funny going back and watching our Duke game, our half-court man against Duke, just in the half court, was okay. Like it wasn't great, but it was average. Our transition defense was awful, probably one of the worst of the year. So I think it's a combination of a bunch of factors. It's never just one thing. Offense affects defense. It affects your morale. It affects your spirit. It affects the team taking the ball out of bounds. And there's just been, our guys have been in a rut there for a couple of weeks where it just feels like nothing is going very well for them, and they lost a little spirit. And, it's interesting. Now we've won 2 of our last 3. I understand the Duke game was a bad loss, but like we have rallied and beaten Louisville and North Carolina at home, 2 pretty good teams. So, yes, we're still not where we always want to be, but our guys have come out of it a little bit now, I hope. And hopefully we've gotten our legs back under us, and we're going to play better here down the stretch.
Any more questions for Coach?
That said, how nice is it to have another home game, back-to-back home games after going on the road last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it is. It's real nice. And as much as anything, we need an off day. We just need a day to guys need to get treatment, rest, get off their feet. Our guys are a little beat up, and so we need a day to relax and enjoy the win for a little bit for players. Coaches need to get back in here. We need to get a game plan for talented Syracuse team, and it's nice to not have to then travel, that we can, kind of stay here for Thursday and Friday and have some practices and try to get ready for a big game on Saturday. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.